Hello, my Italian food fanatics. Today, we're going to make an excellent side dish. And there's going to be a little surprise as well. So that surprise comes at the end of the video. Please don't rush to the end. Watch the video through, but stay till the end and you'll know what I mean. In the meantime, please thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, and tell your friends. Our side dish that we're making today is peas with onions and prosciutto. There's going to be a little olive oil in there. There's going to be some garlic and some chopped parsley. It's pretty simple, but simplicity is elegance in a sense. It's not simplistic, it's simple. So without any further ado, let's get in there and make this side dish. All right, let's get started. We're going to use a little bit of olive oil. Of course, it's 100% extra virgin California olive oil. We'll use some parsley. We'll use pearl onions, of course. That's one of the stars of the show. A couple of cloves of garlic. Obviously, peas. In this case, I'm using frozen. Frozen is just as good as using fresh by virtue of the fact that they are picked and then put and frozen instantly, and so they are just perfect. And these are very small, petite pois, very small peas, elegant. And then, of course, a little bit of prosciutto. Now, this is a mildly smoked prosciutto. Because we're going to actually apply heat to this prosciutto, I don't like to use the Parma ham by virtue of the fact that I don't think Parma ham should be exposed to heat. But in this case, this is lightly smoked. It is not Parma ham, but it serves its purpose by adding a little bit of extra je ne sais quoi into our dish. All right, first, we have to prep the onions, and I'll be back to do that and show you how that's done. It's pretty simple. All right, first things first, before we do anything with our onions, we should put a pot of water on to boil. There's no salt in it, and we're not going to shock the onions as we would normally do when we're done blanching a particular food item, because we're going to go straight away into the cooking. So this will come to a boil. Now let's turn our attention to the onions. All right, in order to peel our onions, we're not going to peel them this way. We are going to blanch them first to make it easier to peel, and that's not going to take away from the quality of the onions, or it's not going to take away from the final dish. What we're going to do is cut off the root end on all of these onions, and we're going to blanch them. So I'll do that, and we'll be back. All right, now that our water is boiled, we're going to just take our onions and put them in there for about 2 minutes until they soften up just a tad. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, it's been 2 minutes. They are blanched, and so all we're going to do is just remove them from the water. And we're going to let these cool down for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then we're just going to squeeze them out. I'll come back when we do that. All right, I've poured the onions onto the board. All you need to do now is basically, you can either squeeze them if you want something a little bit less clean, or you could just peel a couple of layers away, just like this, and you've got a perfect pearl onion, and that goes in the bowl. Let me do that with all of them, and we'll be right back. I've chopped up the prosciutto, and sliced the onion, and chopped the parsley. We're going to use these, obviously, in various points of making this side dish, and so it's good to have everything already done. All right, let's get started on the stove. I have a pan here. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there. I have it on medium heat. I don't want a lot of heat. We are going to brown the onions. It's generous, obviously, with the olive oil, as always. Pour our onions in there. And turn up the heat a little bit. I want to brown them. I want to get the outsides brown and basically cook them through. And I'll be back when they're brown. All right, as you can see, our onions now are taking on some color, and this is flavor, essentially. So what we're going to do is we're going to now add our garlic, and we are going to just saute that or cook that for a few seconds. Again, we don't want to burn that garlic. And since the pan is at very high heat, it will very quickly take on some color. And that's about it. We'll add our pancetta in. This will immediately reduce the heat in the pan, so our garlic will stop cooking essentially, and it won't burn. We're going to cook this for a few seconds, and then we're going to add in our peas. Oh wow, the smell of that. Now our peas. And this instantly stops the cooking. But since these peas are raw, we're going to have to let them cook. And we do that by first letting them heat up a little bit. All right, I've added a couple of tablespoons of water, and you can see on the edges there that it's come to a simmer. And so now we're going to turn the heat down, and we're going to let it simmer gently for about 15 minutes until the peas have had an opportunity to cook through and the flavors meld. Let me turn this down a little bit. Really, really low. You don't want it too hot. Anyway, we'll be back. All right, it's been about 15 minutes. And now let's give this a little bit of a taste. Actually, that is delicious. We don't need any salt. Plenty of salt in the pancetta. But what I will do is add a generous amount of pepper. Because in this case, I really like pepper in this particular dish. And of course, we'll add the rest of our parsley. Not the rest of our parsley, all of our parsley. And we'll give it another little bit of a mix. And take it off the fire. Let me turn this off. And now let's dish this up. This makes an excellent side dish. Well, here we are, my Italian food fanatics. You saw me dish it up, and here it is. Now let's get a separate bowl, because I don't want to eat out of this, and we will give this a little bit of a try. Let's see if this is going to be any good. Wow. Tell you what, that prosciutto that I had that smoked a little bit, that adds a beautiful smoky flavor to this. The onions are perfectly cooked. There's no resistance to them, even when they're whole that way, because we started them first. There's a very, very slight hint of garlic. And the peas, oh, they're so sweet and nice. So we have that sweetness, we have the saltiness, we have smokiness, we have the flavor of the onions, the browning of the onions on there, and the parsley. It's an excellent dish. It's from Puglia. Wow. Now, you could theoretically add mushrooms, but then it wouldn't be theoretically authentic. And depending on what type of mushrooms you add, for example, if you add porcini, it's going to overpower everything. So this is perfect the way that it is. If you haven't done so already, please hit the thumbs up button, like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment down below. And I thank you very much for your time. I'm going to finish eating this. In the meantime, no matter where you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate it. Surprise, surprise. What do we do with any leftovers? Of course, there shouldn't be any leftovers, but there may be. In that instance, we're going to boil some water. We're going to add just 1 teaspoon of salt, regular table salt, and some, in this case, some bucatini. We're going to now make a pasta with the side dish to have either as a full meal, because now you have a starch involved, or you can use the leftovers to make this particular dish as well, to add a little something different to it and bring something totally unique to the table. Because people don't like to eat leftovers, some people don't, but in this case we waste nothing. We got to think like an Italian, and so we'll come back when this is done and I'll show you. It's very simple. You've already figured it out, but we're going to make a bucatini with the peas, prosciutto, and onions. Be back in a second. All right, our bucatini is just under al dente, and we're going to take it and bring it into this pan with a little bit of that pasta water as well. I've started the pan off cold because we're going to add in the peas and the prosciutto. We're going to put a little bit of water in here so that it can complete cooking. We don't want to add too much water because we don't want to dilute the peas and the prosciutto. Let's get this other piece of bucatini in there. That's done. And now we're going to finish cooking this while adding our leftover. In this case, it's not leftover, it's the same day, but we're going to add in our peas and prosciutto. And that way we utilize everything, the whole product, and nothing really goes to waste. Now I've added half of the amount of salt that I would normally put in the pasta water, and you know why that is, because we have already salt in the regular dish with regard to the prosciutto. And in a second we're going to tighten this whole thing up with a little bit of Parmigiano-Reggiano. So I'll come back when this is al dente and ready to serve. All right, as you can see, if I move this around, there's no more water in the bottom because the pasta has soaked it up. Some of it's gone by evaporation, and now not only are the peas and the prosciutto reheated with the onions, but the pasta is perfectly cooked. So let's take this now and dish it up. What a great way to utilize any sort of leftovers. Add a little bit of cheese in there. Parmigiano-Reggiano makes anything taste good, and I'm serious about that. So a little bucatini. Wow. You don't need anything. This is it. You just add bucatini to this. And a little bit of cheese. You've got a whole other meal. So the night before, you could have this side dish with your steak or what have you, a bistecca fiorentina, and then the following day, you take the leftovers, if there's any leftovers, that is, and have them with bucatini with a little bit of cheese. No butter, no added extra oil. What a lunch. Oh, so good. Almost better than the side dish, believe it or not. But remember, we didn't have a starch with the side dish. We didn't have a protein. Well, actually, there's protein in the prosciutto, but we could have had it with a steak or what have you. This is a complete meal now. Anyway, I shouldn't have eaten so much. Enough said. Now you have two dishes, okay? Made from one base item with the addition of only two ingredients. Bucatini or spaghetti or whatever you want to add. And of course, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, which you're going to have on hand anyway. So with that said, have a great rest of the day, no matter where you are. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment down below. What do you think? Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.